Hey guys, welcome to Calm Signal. I'm Suzanne here to do our weekly video. Um, Last week, I talked about the importance of truly listening to one another, listening to people, giving them an ear. Sometimes people don't need our advice um, or solution to what they're going through at all. Um, Sometimes they simply need someone to give them their time, their attention, and the space to be heard. That's really all. I mean, that's a lot, but it's really all they need. I've been thinking about something since last week, though. How often do we offer that same kind of presence to ourselves? Which is something I discovered was truly valuable for myself. We live in a world with noise. We fill the quiet moments with television, our phones, conversations, music, work, and endless streams of thoughts. You can't help the thoughts, but you don't have to get caught up in them. But sometimes we're so busy moving through life that we don't stop long enough to ask ourselves, how are we really doing? How are we doing? We worry about our kids, our spouse, our friends. How are we doing? That's the question of the day. Our bodies may be trying to tell us something as well. You shrug things off, you ignore them. Maybe our shoulders have been tense for weeks. I know mine get like that. Maybe we're exhausted. Maybe we're carrying sadness, loneliness, or stress that we've been too busy to acknowledge. Sometimes listening to ourselves doesn't begin with finding an answer. Just like when somebody asks you to listen to them, they don't necessarily need an answer. Sometimes it simply begins with becoming quiet enough to actually notice. That was something I began learning when I started practicing the art of meditation. It's not really an art, it's just meditation. I didn't have to stop my thoughts or do it perfectly. I simply began learning that I didn't have to follow every stinking thought my mind created. And I'm sure you've heard before, we have over 60,000 thoughts in a day. The only time I don't have thoughts is when I am in a moment of pure focus on something. And occasionally I have thoughts then too, but when I'm focusing on my art, I am into it and I just forget about time altogether. But back to meditation. I didn't have to stop my thoughts or do it perfectly. I simply began learning that I didn't have to follow every thought. I could just notice a thought and just let it be. And then return to my breath is how I learned how to meditate. Over time, the breath became a place to come back to, a small reminder that I didn't have to solve everything in that moment. I could simply just pause, just be. Listen and listen softly and notice what was happening within me. So do this with me. Try this. Find a quiet place and sit comfortably for just a few minutes, and just do this with me. I like to take a few cleansing breaths before I begin to do any meditation. It just clears out the lungs, especially if you do it first thing in the morning like I do. It just clears out the lungs. But it also sets sort of the intention of what you're ready to do, what your body's ready to do. So take a slow breath in. Do with me. And let it go. I like to count the breaths at about 5, depending on how quickly you breathe or how deeply you breathe. 5, and then let out for a longer period of time. The release should be longer. Breathe in 5 seconds and release for 8 to 9 seconds if you can. You can adjust to your own comfort. So let that breath go. Notice your body. Notice where you're holding tension. What feels tired? What feels heavy? What emotion might be sitting quietly beneath everything else? Just notice. You don't have to fix anything you notice. Just listen. And when your mind begins to wander, gently return back to your breath. Just keep bringing it back. You're not going to be a pro in the beginning, and you can't do it wrong. You just keep bringing it back. And then inhale. And exhale. Remember, exhale for longer. Just notice and listen. Do that as long as you can tolerate. Start with 5 minutes. And again, sometimes we don't need immediate answers. Sometimes we simply need to become quiet enough to hear what has been waiting for us underneath all the noise. Try this and try to extend it. Again, start with just a few minutes. 5, 10 minutes, 20 minutes tops. You don't have to be an hour-long meditator. It's not necessary. Just notice what's going on within yourself. Just notice the feelings, any tension. Anyhow, thanks for watching, and I hope you can do this for yourself. And because you're doing it for yourself, you're doing it. This may sound corny, but you're doing it for the world. You're doing it for the greater good. Bring peace to yourself. Take care of yourself. This is part of self-awareness. It's taking care of you. Take care of yourself first. Anyhow, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day, a great week, and we will talk to you next week. Thanks for watching. Comment below if you have any questions about meditation. But otherwise, have a great week. Thanks for watching. Take care. In the meantime, be the calm. Thanks.